Hello and welcome to Opening Bars. As with many Radiohead compositions, Pyramid Song has been the topic of much discussion and some academic debate since its release in 2001. The song seems to have been inspired after Tom York visited an exhibition of Egyptian art in Copenhagen. He has been quoted in an interview with MTV as saying, and I'm reducing the whole quote to its essentials here, "That song literally took 5 minutes to write, but yet it came from all these mad places. Stephen Hawking talks about the theory that time is another force. It's a fourth dimension and the idea that time is completely cyclical. That's what Pyramid Song is about, the fact that everything is going in circles." We'll circle back to this idea later. For now, let's look at the harmonic movement. The first observation is that the first chord is clearly an F-sharp major triad, a chord which appears with great frequency throughout the piece and ends it. So the key signature should at least have 6 sharps for F-sharp major. Well, I would also point out, however, that the piece also uses a G natural and D natural extensively as a flat 2 chord, and that an A natural shows up later in an F-sharp minor chord, and we also hear E major. So, what to do? Most online sheet music utilizes 3 sharps, yet this piece challenges that signature too, seemingly defying a definitive label. To me, the F-sharp is simply a centering tone. It's a note that's shared amongst the 5 chords that appear in this song. If we consider that F-sharp as a kind of elevated pedal tone, rising to G and settling back to F-sharp within the phrase, the underlying movement in these opening bars then is F-sharp major, rising to G major, reaching the apex at A major, then descending back along the same path to G major, and coming to rest at the initial starting point of F-sharp major. Each chord moves in homophonic parallel motion, anchored by the powerful open fifths in the left hand. With the inclusion of the F-sharp pedal and neighboring G then, we get an F-sharp major, G major 7, A major 6, G, which is later G major 7, and F-sharp major. The scale upon which this piece is built is essentially a semitone, tone, 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 semitone, tone, tone, Phrygian scale. And with an alluring raised third degree becomes the Phrygian dominant scale, one which is common in Arabic and Egyptian music. That augmented second, or minor third in equal temperament if you like, is quite distinctive. I think 4 sharps works well here, and we can clearly see the flat 2 movement, and we'll need to add the A sharp manually. But we could also notate with a custom key signature, like this, using 3 sharps and 2 naturals. This custom key signature looks weird, but honestly, you can get used to this too with enough practice. I mean, the Western notation system is chaotic at best anyway, but I'll leave that sentiment for another video and another time. Let's look at the rhythm. The fundamental rhythmic motif for the entire piece is only 2 measures long and is non-retrogradable, or in other words, a rhythmic palindrome. 3/8, 3/8, and 2/8, tied to its mirror 2/8, 3/8, and 3/8. That's it. I like to notate it without the tied notes within the measure, as I feel it's the cleanest visual representation of the symmetrical structure, so I prefer 2 dotted quarters and a quarter note tied to a quarter and then 2 dotted quarters. I really like this chart here, which I snagged from a Reddit post, which really captures the spirit and imagination of the online investigations into what makes this so interesting and potentially linked to the pyramidic structure. But the problem is, this piece doesn't feel repetitively regular, hence the arguments about what the time signature should be. So why the controversy? Well, I think that while the rhythmic motif is statically repetitive, it's the syncopation and the shifting placements of the chords themselves that make the listener react to them as moments of musical significance. The changes seem to be working against the presumed underlying pulse here. If we sum all the eighth notes for each chord change, we would get an uneven 6, 4, 9, 7, 6, 6, 4, 9, 13. That doesn't match the symmetry of the 6-4-6, 6-4-6 palindromic substructure. This really messes with the musical mind. But that's not all. There is something deeper going on here that is only truly revealed when the percussion enters the mix around the 2-minute mark. This piece is swung. Let's try an experiment here. I'll play these measures 3 times. Each piano iteration played the same, but the accompanying metronomic rhythms will be different. I'll try it against straight quarter notes first, then eighth notes, and then swung eighths. Pay close attention to how each feels. Here we go, all 3 in a row. And finally, let's play this against the actual main drum pattern. Quarters on the ride cymbal, and a 3-3-3-3-4 eighth note grouping in the snare and kick drum. Here's a wonderful chart to consider that pulls this all together and illuminates the cyclical nature of Radiohead's invention. There's also a cool YouTube video accompanying this particular diagram. I'll put that URL in the description. So now that you know the notes and rhythms, there are a couple of other things for you to think about when you perform this piece. My inclination would be to play this as legato as possible, almost overlapping the chords, if you will, and keeping the piano hammer strikes as unobtrusive yet still percussive as possible. I would place less emphasis on the F-sharp pedal and slightly highlight the rising and falling motion of the homophony, and while I'm at it, I'd also not accent the chord changes. Instead, I'd employ a gradual crescendo for 4 bars and then decrescendo for 4, using the G in the right hand, and particularly the non-chord tone G, to signal the apex of the phrase. And finally, I'd keep as straight a swung rhythm as possible underneath, if I can say that oxymoronically. Let the structure and the change in harmonies do the work for you. No need to add unnecessarily wild rubato. I'll play this once more, but listen critically as I have a comment about it in a moment. I usually end each of these tutorials with a suggestion for musical enrichment, and it often entails how to play more cleanly and with more precision, which I've tried to replicate in my played example. But you may have noticed that it's lacking something, and I think that something is humanness. It's definitely weird, but the more accurately intentional this is played, the more it loses its soul. I think that's part of the allure and beauty of Radiohead's performance. It's so palpably human. I'd challenge you to play alongside the actual recording. An interesting challenge it is. I hope you enjoyed your lesson today. Remember, don't just play notes. Make music. Until next time, thanks for listening.